Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week we talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We got a trolley.
It's a replica from the Tom Hanks movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The real one is probably encased somewhere.
It's encased, but this one is like as close as you can get to the real thing.
And everything, but she's more me. I love the fact that Tyler I love the fact we're on Netflix too. I have that kind of freedom to really be me.
First person that came to mind was Will Ferrell. And I just think of, a guy like him, is, a comedian, the funny guy, like not taking life so serious all the time. I think that's just a good approach to have.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. So what happens when two beloved worlds from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood finally meet? It's a beautiful day indeed. In a brand new PBS Kids special, Donkey, Hodie, and Friends welcome Daniel Tiger and his dad for their very first visit to someplace else, bringing together puppets, music, and lessons inspired by Fred Rogers himself. Joining us are Kristin DiQuollo, co-producer of Donkey, Hodie, and Chris Loggins, supervising producer of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, to share how this crossover came to life and why it's such a celebration of creativity, friendship, and problem solving. Welcome to the show, you two.
We're doing great.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right, so this is the first time Don Quixote and Daniel Tiger have shared the screen. How did the idea for this crossover come about?
It's been something we've been thinking about for, I would say, a few years. Well, definitely at least a couple of years, because we started writing it about 2 years ago. But Don Quixote premiered on air in 2021, and it's the second series produced by Fred Rogers Productions that features reimagined characters and worlds from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So ever since we launched Don Quixote, we thought about ways that we might start bridging it with Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Mr. Rogers. And Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood was the first series we created based on this. So we had started doing elements of that. We introduced trolley on Don Quixote. We introduced speedy delivery service, but we thought at the beginning of season 3 the time was right to bring Daniel and Dad into someplace else and reimagine them as puppets.
And fans will notice some familiar nods to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Can you share some of the special details or some of these little Easter eggs that viewers should be looking out for?
Sure. Well, I think one big one is the Look and Listen song. Both of our series are very musically driven. Both of our series feature songs, reimagined songs from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but this is the first time the Look and Listen song is going to appear in either of our shows. And it is threaded throughout the special, so that's one really nice nod. And there are other things like trolley, and you want to talk about the clock?
Sure, yeah. It was fun for us to also include elements from Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood in this special. So what brings Dad Tiger and Daniel Tiger to someplace else is Grampy Hodie has a clock that he can't get to work. And viewers of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood maybe remember that Dad Tiger works at the clock factory, so he comes to help his old pal Grampy Hodie with his clock.
And Fred Rogers often emphasized creativity and perseverance. How do these values kind of show up in this special?
Lots of ways. We have lots of messages threaded throughout the special, but the first one is about meeting someone new. Daniel Tiger and Dad Tiger arrive on trolley, and it's Daniel and Donkey's first time meeting each other. And for a young child, that can be uncertain, that could be exciting, it could be scary. There's a lot of big feelings wrapped into that. So we offer a strategy for that in the form of course, a really groovy song about asking lots of questions to get to know each other better when you're meeting someone new. And we think it's just really great timing right now with back to school. A lot of kids are heading back to school and meeting new friends and new classmates. So we hope that's one example of a lesson that will really resonate with everyone.
And Donkey and Daniel persevere in their quest for the rainbow ball.
Yeah.
So that's also a fun part of the episode.
Yeah.
And for families that may not watch regularly, why is now a great time to tune in, and how could they help keep supporting PBS and kids programming?
Every day is a great time to tune in. Every day is a beautiful day to watch our shows. But this, we hope, will really help bring forward the messages that are timely and timeless for all of us about managing feelings, problem solving, being resilient in the face of a challenge, meeting someone new, and just being really joyful, having a lot of fun, singing, dancing. I think that's stuff that we all need to appreciate, and it resonates now. And you can watch the special on your local PBS station. So supporting stations is really great.
And we're always thinking about children watching with their family, their parents, and caregivers, and we hope that they can watch together and then talk about the show after they've seen it, and hopefully use some of what's in these episodes in their lives, and that it resonates and stays with them. One thing that Fred Rogers said is if we can make things more mentionable, we can make them more manageable. So hopefully this is an entry point for families to talk about these type of things that we're covering in Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Donkey Hodie.
And is that the real trolley behind you?
It's a replica from the Tom Hanks movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The real one is probably encased somewhere.
It's encased, but this one is like as close as you can get to the real thing. The set designers of that movie did an impeccable job recreating Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
All right, I just had to find out. Don't miss Daniel Tiger Visits Someplace Else. PBS depends on your support to keep programs like this on the air, so visit your local PBS station's website to donate and help keep these inspiring stories alive for future generations. I want to thank you two for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
What happens when a working mom becomes the most powerful woman in her state and still can't get her family to listen? Tyler Perry's She the People is the Netflix comedy about a newly elected lieutenant governor juggling politics, a chaotic household, and a boss who still thinks it's the 1950s. So today we're joined by Terri J, Vaughn and JoMarie Payton, who brings the laughs and the family drama in this bold and funny new series. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Thank you. We are fantastic. That was the perfect description of our show. Thank you.
Thank you. For those that are just like hearing about the show, how would you describe She the People in your own words?
Oh my God. Well, you did that so well. Yes, Antoinette, my character Antoinette Duncanson becomes the first Black lieutenant governor in the great state of Mississippi, and we watch her navigate that path with a governor in place that does seem like he's stuck in the 1950s. That was perfect. Also, she's balancing that career path while at the same time juggling her home and family life with a very colorful family, a very nosy and bold speaking family. So navigating those and raising two teenage kids in the world of social media, co-parenting with an ex-husband, and dealing with a very, very nosy mom is set for fun. Set for fun.
But listen. We're proud of her now. I'm proud of her as a daughter, and they're happy about their mothers in their position. But we still want to do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I still want to go to the casino. I want to be with my friends. We'll go fishing. I'm retired. I want to have a good time. I don't want everybody all down my back asking her where your mama going now. Who is she with? 'Cause I still like my boyfriends. And then her children, they still want to be with those phones and stuff and all. They don't want to tapping their phones with their conversations. Listen, we got business to take care of. We got stuff to do. But we're also not ignoring that we got issues in this world.
JoMarie, you play Cleo, Antoinette's mother, and she's got her opinions. So what do you love about playing her?
What I learned about playing her?
What do you love about
that is a lot like me, JoMarie. And everything, but she's more me. I love the fact that Tyler I love the fact we're on Netflix too. I have that kind of freedom to really be me, you know, and to deal with all these different things, with family life and politics. And although she says, I don't like politics, she doesn't like the BS of politics, but yeah, she loved to get into the mix. Come on now. But, so that's what I'm loving about this character. And hoping that you love it too. So I can bring things to you to make you feel better about you, and that you wake up that next morning seeing you and feeling better about everything that life has to offer because you saw you and you made you better.
And the show touches on like real issues, like and also is extremely funny, keeping the laughs going. What is the balance between comedy and reality and bringing those together on set?
I think the funny is based in reality. Like all the storytelling is totally relatable topics, things that we are seeing, stories ripped from the headlines. So it is very grounded in reality, but we laugh. Like my favorite thing in the world to do is laugh. I believe that laughter is healing. Even in, just dramatic situations, sometimes you just got to step back and you just got to laugh at the ridiculousness that we are living in, that we have to navigate through. And so we wanted to create this show to be able to address real life issues that we are dealing with, but give it to you in a digestible way where you can laugh, but also you can think and maybe start some conversations around the issues and around the things that we present.
You know, it's just like an example I can give you because I don't want to use it every time. And I'm real concerned about children not having breakfast in the morning, having food to eat when they go to school and all, because I'm one of 9 and we went through that. And also, but the funny in it for me would be if they did take the program out of school or whatever, like they have, son, that I say, you know something, I saw a little peepee and he was hungry. Tell that boy to stop by my house before we go to school so I can give him something to eat. And then I may start a protest. You know, we don't know. The show has so many veins to it.
Yeah.
And because we have so many issues and so many things that we want to fix and make right and make you feel good that you helped us make it right. Until the funny is going to come out of that. That you might pass our house and see me outside with the barbecue grill, big one there, with pots on there, and I'm slinging grits. Say, come on here, boy, and get something to eat before you go to school or whatever. That brings us to the fact that it's important.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. It's important that teachers ain't got enough, because I see Sally at Walmart.
She gets all riled up,
Walmart,
right?
she ain't got what she needs. Girl, come over here. Get some more paper so when you get some more things so you go to school. We have to address their health. I go to CVS. I'm going to say it. And I got to go pick up my medicine. Why I got to pay for this? How much do y'all want me to die, right? It's something funny about that, but it's real. That's real. That's real.
You got it?
I got you. All right, Terri, JoMarie, thanks for joining me this morning. Don't miss the Laugh Out Loud comedy that happens when politics and family pretty much go head-to-head under one roof. It's available now on Netflix. She the People. Check it out. Thank you, too, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
Thank you so much.
Imagine living with a rare skin condition so painful it could lead you to the ER, and so misunderstood that many people, even doctors, have never even heard of it. That's the reality for those with generalized pustular psoriasis, or GPP. With the first ever GPP Awareness Day that just happened, we're joined by Mary Robinson, who's living with the disease, and Dr. Adam Friedman, who's here to help us understand it a little better. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing okay. For those who have never heard of it, what exactly is GPP, and what makes it different from some of the other skin conditions?
Yeah, so generalized pustular psoriasis, or as you mentioned, GPP, is a chronic inflammatory skin condition that can wreak havoc all over the body. And to your point, this is an independent condition. The name is a little misleading because there's the word psoriasis in there, but this is not psoriasis. As a dermatologist, I'll focus on the skin piece, which is a rash that can occur anywhere on the body. It can itch, it can hurt, but most notably, it'll be covered in non-infectious pustules, which are blisters filled with pus. This condition is way more than skin deep. It can affect every organ system. Often patients have fever, joint pain, lethargy that can easily lead to the emergency department. And this can be a life-threatening condition.
And Mary, how has GPP changed your daily life and some of your routines?
So living with GPP and the life change it brought has been changed. Like, there's no way to describe it, but, it definitely, is eye-opening. The biggest part is education. Education is key. Awareness is key. So there's a lot that goes into living with it every day. You have to be mindful of what you wear, what you eat, what you do, where you go. So it's not something that you can take lightly. You do have to be aware of your surroundings. I always say I have a light switch on that never goes off, because living with GPP, that light switch stays on. So I have to be very aware of what's going on. And
we just celebrated the first ever GPP Awareness Day. What does this moment mean to the both of you guys?
So I'll take that first. Living with GPP, it definitely means a lot. It's given me a voice to help others. It also is giving me a voice for myself, because at first when I was diagnosed with GPP, there was no awareness, there was no education. Basically, I had no one to turn to. So for someone else that's living with GPP now, they don't have to go down that journey alone. This journey, they have someone who's living with it that can help them have a great journey. They don't have to take as many twists or turns or bends or humps or anything to get the diagnosis, to understand what it does. So it's definitely incredible that we're having this awareness. And it's not just awareness for the patient, it's also awareness for the doctors that's helping the patients. It's awareness for the family members that have to deal with everyday life with the patients. So it's awareness for everyone. So it's definitely a great thing that we're doing and bringing awareness to.
Yeah, Mary's a hard act to follow, but I will certainly add, I'm very appreciative of Barry Ingelheim for supporting this National Awareness Day, because a big piece is validation. So when you don't have a name to a face, when patients are jumping around from doctor to doctor and they don't know what to call what's going on with them, that adds to the burden of disease beyond everything you already heard about. So I think that having a day that recognizes this, that allows us to talk about resources like gppandme.com, where you can get all the information and more about this condition for those suffering and their loved ones, and even, as Mary mentioned, physicians, as there is a lack of awareness, but we are changing that with this day, and I'm really excited to be part of that.
So, Dr. Friedman, what do you wish more people and healthcare providers actually understood about this condition?
Yeah, I think first and foremost that it is an independent condition, and being able to recognize what it looks like across the spectrum of skin tones and other demographic features. Again, there are resources to help with that, like gppandme.com, but it starts with the basic level of education. This should be part of what's called the differential diagnosis, meaning the diseases you think about when you see someone with an inflammatory skin disease, and the plus, meaning they have other things going on, like fever, like joint pain. This should be part of your thought process, because if it's not even on the list, these patients aren't gonna get the right diagnosis, they're gonna get the wrong treatment course, and that adds to, again, the burden of disease. We gotta do better for these patients.
Where can our viewers go to learn more, connect, and get some other resources?
Yeah, so gppandme.com, no doubt, should be your first stop off that educational bus. Incredible resource, highly recommended. And then, of course, your board certified dermatologist if you have anything going on with your hair, skin, and nails.
Mary, Dr. Friedman, thank you too for joining me this morning.
Thank
Absolutely.
Our next guest is unique. What do you get when you mix couture chaos, murder in paradise, and a comeback wedding with secrets that could pretty much kill? It's Another Simple Favor. It's the long-awaited sequel that reunites Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively for another round of sharp wit, killer fashion, and even deadlier twists, this time in Capri. Joining the cast is Tony winner Alex Newell, who plays Vicky, Stephanie's fierce and fabulous book agent. Welcome to the show, Alex. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
This sequel, it brings back a lot of wild energy from the original, but now we're in Capri with even more secrets and high fashion. What's it like stepping into the deliciously chaotic world?
Amazing. And I get to be in Capri. Who doesn't want that? And oh God, that backdrop is gorgeous.
Your character, Vicky, is Stephanie's book agent. Can you tell us a little bit more about them and what kind of dynamic they bring into the mix?
Chaos in the fun way. I think Vicky is somebody that everybody wants to be on vacation, and she's on a work vacation at that. So she's just trying to get a good book deal out of Miss Stephanie Smothers.
From Shucked on Broadway to a Paul Feig thriller in Italy, you've been booked and busy. What drew you to Another Simple Favor, and how did it feel to collaborate with this ensemble?
You know, when my agent texted me and said, "Hey, do you want your White Lotus moment?" I was like, absolutely. And she said, "Well, Paul is directing the sequel of A Simple Favor and wants you to come on out to Capri and play this role." And I was so honored because I'd worked with Paul on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist before. And so to come back and be actually directed by him and work with this incredible ensemble was just a dream come true. Everybody was so lovely.
And the movie blends comedy, mystery, and a little bit of glam, sometimes all pretty much in the same scene. What was your favorite moment in the film, or one that you think that you will always remember?
Oh my goodness. My favorite moment from the film that I think that entrance to Capri, the boat ride into it. I think that was just breathtakingly beautiful, just riding in onto it. Ugh.
And between the twists, the couture, and the cast, chemistry, what do you think will surprise audiences the most this time around?
The chaos. I mean, there is so much happening that you don't get a break from it. I think that's what they'll really take from it, but also kind of like what friendship is. I think we all have that frenemy and that friend that we all like to jab at and talk to, but we love them regardless.
Alex, thanks for joining me this morning. You should check out Another Simple Favor. It's available now on Amazon Prime. What does it take to stare down a 1-ton bull and hold your ground 8 seconds at a time? In Not Her First Rodeo, we follow the real lives of elite lady bull riders, women who are rewriting the rules of rodeo and risking it all for the win. As the heart of it is 4-time world champion Jordan Halverson, who's not just riding, she's basically leading a movement. She's here today to talk about the new docuseries, The Grit It Takes to Make It, and why this really isn't her first rodeo. Welcome to the show, Jordan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Rodeo has always fascinated me, and actually, I have my own belt buckle. I did ride a bull once. I fell off in the first few seconds. So this is basically a participation trophy for bull riding. So, hey, you're a 4-time world champion. Can you take us back to the beginning, like the days that you first started out? What made you get into the bull in the first place?
You know, like it honestly for me started by chance. I grew up riding hunter jumper horses, a little bit wild, a little bit smaller than some of the other riders. So I was actually riding naughty horses and ponies. And we had a buddy that said, "Hey, what do you think about riding a bull?" And I obviously said yes. And yeah, same thing. I fell off very fast the first time, but it was just more of a bucket list thing for me. And that's how I started. And I was hooked and kept going back week after week after that.
Yeah, I told the guy, how do I get a buckle? And he's like, well, you have to ride a bull. I was like, come on, man. I was trying to like catch a greased pig, go like lasso a sheep or something. Because I grew up in ranches and stuff with my family. So they stuck me on a bull. He's like, if you get on this bull in a rodeo, we'll give you a buckle. So they did this whole participation trophy thing. So I get it. I love it. This show really captures the risk and realities of the sport. What do you hope viewers take away from watching your story?
I hope they take away that, you know, you can do anything in life. You know, don't be afraid to follow your dreams, you know, push through any kind of boundaries there are and just live a life that you want to live.
And you also started your own all-women's bull riding league. What inspired that and how has that actually grown?
So they actually used to have women's rough stock riding events in rodeo, you know, a long time ago, early 2000s and prior to that. And so when I had learned about that several years after I started riding, you know, we had been kind of working towards bringing that back that they used to have for women to be able to compete against other women in the sport of bull riding.
And how do you go about mentally preparing doing bull riding each time? I was scared as hell, but how do you go about doing it because you know what's at stake?
You know, I just think about the challenge, think about what I've got to work through. And for me, all the preparation that goes in beforehand helps me mentally. If I feel physically ready, mentally ready, like it helps every time I go to get on.
And the show also highlights, it's not just a sport, but kind of like a sisterhood. What has the community of women in bull riding meant to you?
You know, we all have our different struggles and you can always learn something from another woman, whatever they're going through. And, you know, whether that be in our riding or in our everyday life, you know, we've just learned to, you know, help each other out and grow as we grow in this sport.
Jordan Halverson, thanks for joining me this morning. You got to catch Not Her First Rodeo. It's a new 6-part docuseries from ABC News Studios, premiering on Freeform with 2 back-to-back episodes. Then you can binge the whole full series on Hulu. Thanks for joining me this morning, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
Kelsey Hart has been making serious moves in country music, earning millions of streams, touring across the country, and writing songs for some of the biggest names in his genre. With his new single, Something That You'd Miss, it shows a little more personal, reflective side and is the follow-up to his high-energy hit Fireworks. We're catching up with him today ahead of the release. Welcome to the show, Kelsey. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, Something That You'd Miss, it tells a vivid story. What's the backstory to this song?
Yeah, so it's a song I was a part of writing last year that one of my buddies, we were on a songwriting retreat, and he just started telling a story, you know, kind of about a situation that he had been in that was similar to this, you know, where wasn't anything, you know, that really happened, you know, bad in the relationship. The girl just, you know, she had moved a long way from her hometown to be with him, and just decided, you know, it just wasn't for her, you know. So that's where the story stemmed from, and you know, he just said, you know, I guess if I was more like her hometown, then I'd be something she'd miss too, you know. And so that's where the song started. And yeah, you know, you hope that's something you never have to go through, but that's the reality for some folks. So,
in your debut, Life With You, it really connected with some fans. How does fan feedback tend to influence the direction you take with new music?
Yeah, no, Life With You was certainly, you know, it's really cool getting to hear all the stories on that. And I think anytime we step into a room, you're hoping to write something that people can hang on to and kind of put to their life. And you know, we're not just telling our own stories. You know, we're trying to every time we're writing songs, we're trying to help tell other people's stories. So that's the goal every time.
And I always like to ask musicians and artists about their influences. And it's not the same way about like, hey, who are your favorite influences? Outside of the music genre, what type of other art or artists, could be actors, writers, authors, filmmakers, what other artists out there kind of inspire you and your work when you go in to write music?
Oh man, as far outside of the music business, I mean, if I'm the first person that came to mind was Will Ferrell. And I just think of, a guy like him, is, a comedian, the funny guy, like not taking life so serious all the time. I think that's just a good approach to have, so I think the lightheartedness of a guy like him, is crucial.
And you've written for other artists as well. What is different about creating music for yourself versus writing for somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, we're always, kind of trying to write in the direction of what I'm doing because I don't have a ton of time to write anymore. But it also just, at the end of the day, we can't record every single song that we're part of writing. So we'll just kind of break them down and see what we think, could possibly work well for another artist. And so I don't know if I think a ton about the differences of it. It's more of, kind of writing in my direction and then taking it and seeing what we can do.
So where does inspiration strike most when you're like writing new music? Are you like in the shower and realize, hey, I've been humming this little song, or out on tour with a guitar strumming around? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes from just daily life. And sometimes, hearing somebody say something, it can really even come from a conversation, the way somebody says something, or, you can pull titles and ideas from anything, and probably my favorite way to write a song is just going in to the room with a good idea, something that we can really, write around. So.
And you've been out touring. Is there a recent moment or some like fan connection or anything that when you're on stage that kind of stuck with you lately?
It's every night, it's kind of the same, with Life With You. After we'll play Life With You as our last song, or one of our last songs, and then we'll do the meet and greets at the end of the night. And it's always the coolest part to me is just getting to talk to the fans and hear, their personal stories about, how the songs, have affected them and stuff. So I think every night that's probably my favorite part.
Kelsey Hart's new single, Something That You'd Miss, is out Friday, August 22nd. You can find it on all streaming platforms and get some of his tour info over at kelseyhart.com. Hey, Kelsey, thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. Appreciate you.
And that's it for Rise Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, go to our website. That's riseunwindtv.com. Fill out the form, send it on in, and you could be on a future episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That's at Rise Unwind. We also have a YouTube channel where you can like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. That is also at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.